Hey, this is Phil from Race City Retro, and today we're talking hubcaps. Well, some people call them hubcaps, some people call them wheel covers. I call them cool. In the beginning of time, when caveman carved out the very first wheel out of stone, he put it on his car, he looked at it, he said, well, it'll roll, but it's kind of boring. It needs a little something. So then came the hubcap. The early cars of the 20s, even into the 30s, had wire wheels with a very small ornamental cap in the center. Once the stamped steel wheels started in the late 30s into the 40s, hubcaps became more of a statement piece on the car. Most of them were just a baby moon type, but as we got into the 50s, it really became something that would set the car off. You had two versions though. On the more expensive models, you would have a full wheel hubcap with lots of detail to it. On the cheaper models, you would have a smaller poverty cap, or what's better known as a dog dish. The dog dish got their nickname from the junkyards. That was the dog's dish. They would flip one over, fill it with water. The junkyard dog always had something to drink out of. That's where the term dog dish came from. Some vehicles would even have a small cap with a trim ring around the outside. Today, we're going to go through a hubcap collection I just bought, and I'm going to show you what I have been doing with hubcaps since I was a kid. I've been buying and selling hubcaps since I was a teenager. Nowadays, hubcaps are getting hard to find, especially if you're doing a restoration that they don't reproduce them for, which is the majority of cars. And the reason for that is they're extremely expensive to reproduce. Car manufacturers back in the 50s and 60s realized how important a detail that was on the car they designed, so they invested the money in stamping stainless steel hubcaps. That's right, stainless steel. That's why they don't rust, hubcaps. They're all made out of stainless steel. Well, the good ones are. You had aftermarket companies like J.C. Whitney making them out of regular steel, and right away, if you see rusty hubcaps, you know they're copies, and you know they're made out of they're made out of regular steel. That's why they're rusting. A very wise old timer once told me the day they stopped putting stainless steel hubcaps on cars and switched to plastic hubcaps is when the whole car industry went bad. Think about that. Think about that. Let's go over a few different types of hubcaps, and I'll show you what this collection consists of. It's got a lot of good pieces in it, a lot of desirable pieces, and one thing's for sure, 9 out of 10 times when you buy hubcaps, they're dirty. They've usually been hanging on a wall somewhere or sitting stacked on a shelf somewhere. But this particular hubcap, this is a small cap. This is about 8 3/4 inches. This is a Dodge from the 60s, usually found on a Dart hubcap. You'll see it has the Fratzog logo. Automakers realized that hubcaps were a perfect way to brand your car. When people pulled alongside of you at the light, they couldn't see an emblem. They would see a logo or a name, Dodge, Dart, whatever, across the middle of the cap. Now, sometimes you would see these, not from the factory in the 60s, but some people would add aftermarket, a trim ring. Let me grab one of those and I'll show you how that goes together. Now, this is a poverty cap or dog dish surrounded by a trim ring. Generally, the factories would not include trim rings with dog dish hubcaps. You would have to purchase them separately. Dog dish hubcaps were the cheapest of the cheap. If you bought a 6-cylinder car, if you bought a muscle car, unless you upgraded the wheels, 9 out of 10 times you would get dog dish hubcaps. And a lot of guys did that because they realized as soon as I pick that Charger up, I'm junking those steel wheels, I'm putting Krager SS on it, I'm taking those hubcaps and throwing them in the garbage. That's why a lot of hubcaps are very hard to find today. Some guys did save them. They hung them on the garage wall, but that's what makes these things tough to come by. And like I said, these hubcaps are stamped out of stainless steel. They have painted areas, painted area. They'll clean up really, really nice. And what I had talked about earlier, if you're at a junkyard, they use these because, let me flip it over. They'd flip it over, and that's the dog's dish. They would put dog food in one, put a matching one next to it, put water in it, and the junkyard dog had something to eat out of. That's how dog dish got their name dog dish, because of the junkyard dog. If you spent a little more money at the car dealership and went with a higher up model, or you paid a little extra on your factory order and you wanted some full wheel covers, this is an AMC full wheel cover. This is a 14-inch hubcap, which covers the full steel wheel. Generally, you would see these with a white line tire, white wall. Unlike the dog dish, you would usually see with a black wall or maybe a red line if it was on a muscle car. These would come with a white striped tire to add to the look. Now, a lot of these hubcaps, some of them you'll see, they'll be stamped out of stainless steel one piece, but some of them may have a regular steel ring to help hold them on. And generally, when you flip a hubcap over, you'll see this has got that steel ring with a stainless steel center. And what these will do is they'll have some type of bump that coincides with the wheel or an edge to lock them onto the wheel pretty good. But you could take them off pretty easy. There's a hubcap hammer, or most guys would just do a screwdriver. That's why when you buy them, always look at the edges, see if they're really chewed up bad, if somebody, really pry it at them to try and get them off a car. But this one's in really nice shape. And look at the detail. You've got some nice argent paint. Give it that turbine look. You got black, satin black. You've got the red of the crest. I mean, they really put a lot of thought into the hubcaps. It was a big part of the car. Once you design the car, the hubcaps were like the cherry on the cake. With the right set of hubcaps, it would really set the car off. Let's look at something one step up from here. Okay, now this is a simulated mag hubcap. Now, what that means is the factories realize that all these guys are buying our cars, they're taking off these hubcaps, throwing them in the garbage, they're giving their money to the aftermarket wheel companies because guys like the look of mag wheels. So the factory started saying, wait, what if we offer a hubcap that looks just like a mag wheel? And we'll make it so convincing that we'll put chrome lug nuts on the car so that when the hubcap snaps down, the real lugs will poke through the cap, and people will think twice. They'll say, is that a mag or is that a hubcap? Because the lug nuts look so realistic. It was pretty slick, pretty smart. They had some real smart guys back then thinking about stuff like this. And this is a Ford one. This is a big, heavy 15-inch. These would be on Thunderbirds. They would be on LTDs. They even came on some Ford trucks. Simulated mag hubcap. These are very hard to find in good shape because they were so heavy. A lot of them flew off the car if they weren't put on right after a brake job. And if you flip these over, you'll see these are totally stainless. These you got to watch because these babies are like razor blades. They also have some bolts holding the pieces together. See that? So this is a multi-piece hubcap. This hubcap probably cost Ford a lot of money to engineer and a lot of money to produce. But they figured if we can make a little profit on these hubcaps because they're a lot more desirable than a dog dish hubcap or a simple stamped steel hubcap, we could pick up some profit and we won't have people putting aftermarket wheels on our cars. They'll stay with the factory hubcaps because it's got that simulated mag wheel look to it. It looks just like a mag wheel. And a lot of guys ran them. They were convincing. I mean, a lot of guys, they didn't want to remove these. It was a good-looking hubcap. If we take a step back into the late 1950s when fins and chrome and bling was the thing, you'll take a look at one of the craziest hubcaps ever designed. This is a Dodge Lancer. See, it's got the Royal Lancer head in it, what they nicknamed a crab claw, because it almost looks like a crab in the center of the hubcap. These were very popular with customizers. A lot of these hubcaps got stolen and got put on Chop Mercs and customs of the 50s and 60s because it was a very aggressive looking hubcap. And you had that little bit of elegance of the Royal Knight. But this is an amazing piece as far as design goes. It's a cast center that's chrome plated. They're probably pot metal. You'll see a couple small pits on it with a stamped stainless steel outer. So, I mean, that's Chrysler always had some crazy hubcaps, but this is a pretty cool one. And like what I talked about earlier, if you're restoring a late 50s Dodge Royal Lancer and you need this hubcap, man, go try and find one. The days of going to the junkyard and looking at their hubcap wall are over, because most junkyards had a fence full of hubcaps. You went and looked at what you wanted. The guy would charge you 10, 20 bucks a piece, and you got what you needed. Now they've all crushed out. Most of the junkyards, especially the stainless steel parts like this, stainless steel got very desirable. So the junkyards realized, hey, nobody's coming in looking for these old hubcaps anymore. Let's just recycle them, get our money, and move on. That's what I talked about earlier. Why I've been selling hubcaps since I'm a kid, because guys have been looking for them forever. And I'm going to show you today how to clean these, how to get them ready for resale, and how to decide if you got a good one, if you got a bad one, and just generally what to look for when you're buying these at the swap meets. Here's one more from the 50s. This has got to be one of the most popular hubcaps of the 50s. It's a 1956 Oldsmobile Fiesta. Not only were these hugely popular with the custom car scene, the Chop Mercs and the Mile Customs and the lowered cars, the hot rodders love these caps with white wall tires on, the 32 Fords, the Roadsters, and stuff like that. These caps were so much in demand, and they were stolen so often that guys in the 50s and 60s that ran these, when they would go to the movie theater, they would pop these hubcaps off the car and lock them in their trunk. That's how badly these things were stolen, and that's how many people wanted these hubcaps. You couldn't get them. They weren't in junkyards. Anything came in on an Olds or whatever, the hubcaps disappeared immediately. So still to this day, very desirable hubcap. They do make a copy of this at a regular steel. It does not have the Oldsmobile logos here. It's got like a waffle pattern you'll see here. You know, X's with white paint in it. And those you'll see. But this is a legit Oldsmobile Fiesta hubcap with the tri-bar spinner in it. Guys would even take those spinners off and bolt them to other hubcaps. But that's a really, really nice cap. It's going to clean up well. And the thing about these old hubcaps, whether you have one, whether you have a set, even if you have just one, very easy to sell, because there's a guy out there with 3 that needs one more to complete his set. Or a lot of guys just like having an extra. They'll put it on their spare tire, or they're just hanging on the garage wall, because if you're out driving and one flies off, somebody runs it over, it gets pancaked, man, it would be real nice to have an extra sitting in the garage waiting for you. So think about that when you're buying these to sell. Just because you see one at a swap meet, if the price is good and it's a good looking cap, grab it, because you could also piece together sets over time. If you hit multiple swap meets every year, you may find one at one swap meet, 2 at another swap meet, the last one at another swap meet, and you put together a set of caps. Okay, cleaning your hubcaps. These are the 3 items I use to clean my hubcaps. If you have a set of hubcaps that are really grimy, greasy, like let's say, you had a leaking wheel cylinder or axle cylinder or wheel bearing getting grease all over the inside, the outside, they've been sitting for years, you can leave them in the tub that you brought them home in, fill them with water, and just squirt some Dawn detergent in them and just let them sit for a couple hours. This will break a lot of the grease free. It also makes the chrome really, really nice. The only thing you got to watch with this is if the paint is weak on the hubcaps. Dawn sometimes chips some of the paint marks on the hubcaps, so you can't leave them soaking too long. I wouldn't suggest like overnight or anything. I'd leave them maybe a couple hours, take them out and just rinse them down. But this is great for getting the backs of the hubcaps clean. Now, if you found a set of caps that look like they just came off a car, or day 2 caps, I call them, where guy brought his car home, took the hubcaps off him, hung them on his garage wall, and put mags on them, and those caps never went on a car again, and they just need a real quick clean. Spray away. This stuff is, see how it says it's the world's best glass cleaner, ammonia free? They're not lying. It is the world's best glass cleaner, but guess what? It also works great on stainless steel. Just spray and wipe it. Makes them really clean, really nice. But that's for a low effort clean. The majority of your caps, the best way to clean them is SOS. This is a steel wool pad. Now these are made, SOS makes them, Brillo. All these companies have been around since the 50s, because this is how you used to clean the old style pots and pans that were, you know, before the days of nonstick, you would have to scrub them. And what this is, it's a very light steel wool with soap embedded in it. You wet it, you wet the cap, and you just rub. I'm going to show you how. We're going to clean a bunch of caps today. I'm going to show you how nice they come out before and after. But these things are great. Buy the real ones. Don't buy the dollar store ones, because the dollar store ones, the steel wool just falls apart. They put hardly any soap on them. These, they're still, it's a great price. You get a pretty big box for not too bad. And generally with these, you can use them until they start falling apart, which sometimes is quicker than others depending on how much. But it's lightly abrasive. It's not going to scratch your stainless steel. You could also use these things on chrome bumpers on cars. If you got a little light surface rust, takes it right off. Stainless steel trim for cars, you could use this. It's so fine. It's just enough to clean it, but not enough to hurt it, which is great. You don't want to use anything too abrasive on chrome or stainless steel because it's kind of soft. You don't want to use like wire brush, anything, you know, like this. No, you don't clean hubcaps with that. You don't clean stainless steel with that. Use lighter stuff. I've seen guys doing with Scotch-Brite pads, but Scotch-Brite pads can be a little too aggressive. You may see some scratching with Scotch-Brite pads where SOS is just enough to get the junk off, but not scratch the hubcap, which is great. So like I said, SOS, Brillo, they've been around forever, those two names. I mean, like I said, probably the 50s or so. So when a product's been around that long, you know it works, and you know it's a good product. It does what it's supposed to do. All right, I'm going to show you exactly how this stuff works. It's really simple. Okay, so before I start to clean these caps, I think the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take them out of these tubs and I'm going to inventory them. I'm going to see what I have 3 of, what I have 4 of, what I have singles. This way, as I clean them, before I list them, I'll know exactly what I have sets, what I might need one for. So bear with me a second. Let me break them all out. I'll lay them all out and we'll see what we're working with here. All right, so here we go. I laid them out, stacked up sets, stacked up singles. This way I know what's 1, what's a 2, what's a 3, what's a 4. Nice selection of caps. Got some old Dodge ones. That's more like a simulated mag style, late 60s. Chrysler 300, Cadillac, Dodge Polara, Dodge Challenger, Charger, and Dart. Some AMCs, some trim rings. 58, 59 Chevy Bel Airs, also Corvette. Some Pontiacs from the 70s, Dog Dish, Ford, Buick 64, lots of Mopar stuff, which is great. That stuff sells really good. Chevys in the back, Copo, Biscayne, Camaro caps, Ford one back there. All right, let me dig out my hose, get my SOS ready, and let's get scrubbing on a few of these. I'll show you some before and afters. All right, so let's start with one of these Dodge ones right in front. You'll see this thing's got a bunch of dirt in it. Been sitting for a while. I'm going to give it a rinse. And now I'll take a bunch of it off. Wash the backs too. Make sure you got no Black Widow spiders hanging out. Spiders love hubcaps. Got a lot of hiding spots. You don't want to sell somebody a hubcap and they take it out of the box and a Black Widow spider I sent you. All right, now onto the Brillo. Okay, take your Brillo pad and just rinse it a little. Get it a little wet. And just, you can go over the painted areas too. Just nice and light. Don't go crazy. You're not trying to sand this thing. You're just trying to get the dirt off it. And they move nice and quick, these things, especially when they're wet. It's a good looking cap. Hit all the areas. There you go. Now we're going to rinse really good. And one of the things you're going to want to do after you rinse, especially if you have hard water where you live. You don't want to leave it dripping wet because you'll get a lot of water spots on it. So shake it off and then use something to dry it with. All right, but see, Brillo works great. Look what that thing looks like, man. Beautiful. Let me go dry this thing down. We'll take a look at it dry. Okay, there you go. There she is, all dried down. Looks good, right? That Brillo SOS steel wool pad does a really good job. Now, if you had a 70 Charger or 70 Dart Swinger 340 and you needed this hubcap to complete your restoration, would you pay $100 for it? Would you pay $150? I'll bet you would in a second, because it's a hard hubcap to find. And that's what I'm talking about, how profitable these hubcaps can be. That's why I continue to buy and sell them to this day. You need to get out to the swap meets, garage sales, auctions, even look in the old timers' garages. A lot of old timers still have them hanging on the wall and they have zero interest in them. I bought hubcaps from just about everywhere you can think of. But it's an item that you could still buy cheap, and with a little elbow grease, you could sell for a really good profit. Okay, now I got about 100 more I got to clean. I'll get back to you when I'm done. Okay, let's do a little progress report. These are the ones I've done so far. And one thing, when you're cleaning a collection, do yourself a favor. Start with the low-hanging fruit. And by that I mean, don't grab the dirtiest of the dirty. Start with the cleaner ones, because it's going to take a lot less time to do them, so you can knock a bunch of them out of the way. These are nice 7071 Dodge Dart, Dodge Challenger, Super B caps. Those are Charger, Super B, 340 Dart caps. I believe those are 15s. I just got to check them. Some nice Pontiac caps and Mopar caps. Now, one of the things we talked about earlier, these caps on the end here, these dog dish, those are aluminum. By the mid to late 70s, all the auto manufacturers stopped using stainless steel and switched to aluminum, because that's when the gas mileage thing started. So they figured if they can make everything lighter, more plastic, more aluminum, the car would get better gas mileage. Now, if you look at these, those are 1969 Plymouths. They have the Plymouth script in them. That's the same cap, yet different. It's not the lightweight version like the other ones are. The other ones are much lighter, the aluminum-based ones, the later ones. But that's what I've got done so far. I've still got these to tackle. May do a couple more today. And what I did, here's my workbench. I love to work on the tailgate of my truck. What I did too, I had a bunch of the small dog dish. Threw those in some Dawn. I let them soak. They're soaking about an hour now, but look what a nice job the Dawn does. It gets everything really clean and really shiny. Look at that. Really nice, huh? Yeah, soon I'll just rinse those, dry them off. But that's what I meant. You fill a tub, put some Dawn in it, let your stuff soak. Just makes it a little easier, especially stuff. A lot of these had grease on the back of them. And then these are the ones we need to do still. And here's what we've got done so far. Those two, those I like, because that's a muscle car cap. 69 Roadrunner, Cuda, Barracuda, Dusters, 70, 71 Cuda. It's a cool set. They're getting real tough to find too. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Buying and selling hubcaps, cleaning them, listing them, finding them. It's the hot rodder side hustle. Like I said, I've been doing it for years. It's a great little side business because it doesn't cost much to get started. You could spend $100 on hubcaps, buy a box of SOS pads, you got a hose, clean them down, put them on eBay, put them on Facebook, put them on Craigslist. You'll double, triple what you paid for them, but just make sure to buy them right. If you're unsure of what you should pay for them, always look and see what they're selling for. If you look them up on eBay, some recent sales, you get a good clue. Until you get a hang of what's hot and what sells for a lot of money, then you'll be on the lookout for certain caps. Like I said, I've been doing it a long time. It's simple. I'll go to the show, and just as I'm looking for speed parts, if I see a good set of caps, I'll pick them up. Especially dog dish stuff. Always buy dog dish. Dog dish stuff are always wanted. because a lot of guys use the dog dish caps on these big steel wheels now. They put these 22-inch wheels on a car. They put the clips in the middle to take an 8 3/4 or a 10-inch cap. Can't get a lot of these dog dish anymore. They've only remade a couple ones over the years. They're not remaking a lot of them. So always look for dog dish. When you buy hubcaps, you don't want anything that's too damaged, nothing with a lot of road rash or looks like it's been ran over. If you could buy a good set of 4 and one of them's junk, you could always pick up an extra along your way. Just stock those to the side, and then as you look for that one and keep it in the back of your mind that you always need that one extra to complete that set to 4 good ones. But even the rough ones, I've noticed on the full caps, you got a lot of restaurants and bars that buy these caps. They hang them on the wall to give it a little Americana look. So even that stuff sells. Even a damaged cap, if it's got a peel, if it's nice, these bars, these restaurants, steakhouse, whatever, barbecue joints, they'll hang them on the wall just to make it look cool. That's hot, and old license plates are also hot. So be on the lookout, man. Next time you're at the swap meeting, don't walk right past those hubcaps. You could be walking past a $300 set of hubcaps that you could buy for 40, 50 bucks. Make yourself money quick just by cleaning, drying, take some good pictures of them, list them, and you see how fast they'll sell. What you're gonna wanna do too, once you get rolling with these, get yourself some good boxes from Uline. Like I'll stock a 16-16-4 and a 16-16-8 so that I can do pairs, I can do sets of 4. Also for the dog dish, I have like a 12-12-8 that I'll put my dog dish caps into ship. Just makes it easier to ship stuff when you have boxes all ready to go. But I wish you guys really good luck on it. You'll have a lot of fun doing it. It's simple, something you could do with your girl. Go out, look for them, they're everywhere. If you're not at the shows, jump on Facebook, Craigslist, you'll see hubcaps everywhere you go. Search hubcaps, search wheel covers, search dog dish, they'll all come up. You'll be shocked how many are right in your neighborhood. Like I said, a lot of people saved these things years ago, now they're all selling out. Pick up a few, clean up a few, sell them, see how it goes. If you like it, man, you could do as many as you want because they're out there. They're still pretty easy to find, but they're still in very, very high demand. If you like this, please like it, subscribe, and be sure to check out our website at racecityretro.com. We have over 1,000 automotive related products. You're not going to be able to go to my website and not buy something. There's that much cool stuff there. Thank you so much for watching today. Take care now. Go have some fun buying and selling hubcaps.